Hello and welcome. My name is Alan, and we've got some news to go over. First, in the U.S., the George Santos story, Anthony DeValder story, whatever his name is, keeps getting more and more outrageous. Drag artist says George Santos was a left wing Lula supporter in Brazil before going to the US and turning into this crazy thing. Oh my goodness. And of course, Lula is the left wing president of Brazil. He was president at one time, jailed by Bolsonaro. In the most recent election, he defeated Bolsonaro and became president of Brazil once more. So apparently Santos was was actually a leftist. That's oh wow. Drag artist who knew him in the mid 2000s said Santos supported Brazil's left wing president then. Oh my goodness. It also, I don't have any of the stories pulled up, but yeah, Biden's having more and more documents leaked out. He still ain't had as many as Trump, but it shouldn't lessen the fact that they need to be investigated just as seriously. Anyway, now let's look at the Ukraine Russia war. Estonia donates all of its 155 millimeter howitzers and other weapons to Ukraine. And then NATO's Baltic states and Russia remove ambassadors as diplomatic relations downgraded. Reason I put this in the same one, it also has to do with Estonia. Estonia and Latvia have been among a group of NATO allies arguing strongly for Germany to provide Leopard battle tanks uh, to boot to I should be probably to boost Ukraine in fighting Russia. But yeah. Oh my goodness. But for me, all of them are side stories right now. The big one I'm concerned about, science. Habitable habitable planet reality check. TOI 700E discovered by NASA's test mission. Yeah, we have a habitable planet discovered with the test mission. And this is what people should be excited about. If if you're, you know, a lover of science and uh, what goes on, scientifically, this is the kind of story you should enjoy. let me go ahead and scoot up here. We'll read a bit of this. During a press conference held on January the 6th, 2020, at the 235th meeting of the American Astronomical Society in Honolulu, Emily Gilbert, then a graduate student at the University of Chicago, announced the discovery of 3 exoplanets orbiting a red dwarf star being monitored by NASA's Transiting Exoplanet Survey satellite, TESS, which had been launched 2 years earlier. Dubbed TOI 700, TESS Object of Interest 700, one of the 3 exoplanets detected, TOI 700d, proved to be an Earth world orbiting comfortably inside the habitable zone in this dim sun. This was the first potentially habitable exoplanet discovery using TESS. So they say E there, but that's got D. Makes me wonder. Since this time, Gilbert and her collaborators have continued to observe TOI 700 to refine our knowledge of this star and its multiple planet system. On January the 10th, 2023, at the 241st meeting of the AAS in Seattle, Dr. Gilbert, now a postdoctoral fellow at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, announced the results of their new analysis, which included another year's worth of data gathered during TESS's extended mission, as well as ground-based observations. In addition to refining our knowledge of TOI 700, Gilbert announced the discovery of a 4th exoplanet in this system, another Earth-sized exoplanet, which orbits inside the system's optimistic HZ. I'm assuming that would be habitable zone. So what do we know about this new exoplanet and the claim that it might be potentially habitable? The star TOI 700, also known by the designation 2 mass J 062822325-6534456, is a V magnitude 13.1 star located near the south ecliptic pole in the constellation of Dorado, the swordfish. Ground observations performed in 2019 during the efforts to validate the original discovery, and the latest analysis shows TOI 700 to be a M25V red dwarf star at a distance of 101.50 plus or minus 0.09 light years. The properties of TOI 700 are summarized in the table below. Let's take a look at this table. So we got spectral type, surface temperature, mass. It don't have a whole lot of mass. Radius. Of course, they're equivocating everything to, I would assume, our sun. Luminosity. Well, this is TOI 700, not the planets themselves. So this is that particular sun. So, yeah, where it's a red dwarf, it's nowhere near as mass-wise as ours. Its radius is not even half ours. Luminosity is really low compared to ours. Rotation period days, 54.0 plus 0.8. I guess that's, yeah, rotation, not revolution. So it's how long it takes it to rotate on an axis. Age, less than 1.5 GYR. Galactic years? I'm not sure. Distance, LY, light years, 101.5. Basically 101.5 times the distance light can travel in a year. Anyway, the primary instrument used to search for and observe the exoplanets found orbiting TOI 700 has been NASA's TESS, which monitors the brightness of stars looking for telltale dimmings caused by a transitioning exoplanet. After launch on April the 18th, 2018, TESS was placed into an elongated 108 by 375 or 108,000 by 375,000 kilometer geocentric orbit with an inclination of 37 degrees. With an orbital period of 13.7 days, the orbit is in a 2.1 resonance with the moon and is oriented to even out the effects of our natural satellites' gravitational effects on TESS's orbit. From this perch in cislunar space, TESS uses an array of 4 CCD cameras with a total field of view of 24 degrees by 96 degrees to stare at the strip of sky stretching from an ecliptic pole to nearly the ecliptic itself. After observing a strip of sky known as a sector for 27.4 days, the gaze of TESS's telescope is moved to an adjacent sector to continue its survey. After 13 sectors covering almost half of the sky centered on the south ecliptic pole are observed over the course of a year. The survey continued for the next year, centered on the north ecliptic pole. After its 2-year primary mission was completed on January the 4th of 2020, about 200,000 stars, over 75% of the celestial sphere, has been surveyed, with the largest gap in coverage being along the ecliptic itself. Let's see. With this approach, most of the stars in the sky are only observed for 27.4 days by TESS, following the repeated detection of transitioning exoplanets in fairly short period orbits of a couple of weeks or less. Unlike Kepler, which could detect exoplanets with orbital periods of up to a year or so. However, near the ecliptic poles where TESS's sectors overlap, stars can be observed for much longer stretches of time. In the case of TOI 700, located only 3 degrees from the south ecliptic pole, the star was observed almost continuously during the mission's year 1 for 11 out of the TESS's first 13 primary mission sectors, covering the southern hemisphere from July the 25th, 2018 to July the 18th, 2019. TOI 700 was not observed as part of the sectors 2 and 12 because of the image of the star unluckily fell into the gaps between the arrays of the CCDs. This nearly continuous photometric record allowed the detection of multiple transits of any exoplanets with orbital periods less than about 4 months or so. So yeah. Exoplanet properties. A, of course, is too close to be habitable, more than likely, but these are the 4 they're saying should be habitable. B takes almost 10 days to orbit around that star. C, 16 days. E, 27, almost 28 days. And D, 37.5 days. The axes upon which they rotate, orbit eccentricity. I guess the how far elliptical they are in their orbits. Radius of each of the exoplanets in its similarities to Earth. Close to the size of the Earth is B. 2.5 times the size of Earth is C. Close to the size of Earth is E. And just a little bigger than Earth is D. Interesting. Let's see. So yeah. Anything else we want to kind of mention here? Now, potential, habitability, the future. Okay. All right. I think that'll be it for this episode. I just wanted to let you all in on that. I think it's important, especially anything scientific like that. But I'll go ahead and end the episode there. See you all in the next episode. Until then, later.